Okay guys, so it's towards the end of the year, it's generally the time people start setting goals. So this is also how we're going to start doing goals reviews with you, the WOOP system, which is based on evidence coming out of New York University and a book called Rethinking Positive Thinking. Before we get into WOOP, we just want to talk a little about bright spots, and this is why we do the Feel Good Friday every Friday. It's to get you to recognize what's good, because the human tendency is to look at what's going bad, what's going wrong. But when we look at what's going good, we can learn from that, and it's very important when we're involved in a change. And generally, a fitness goal involves changing behavior. So you look at what behaviors you're doing right, and also, like, if you focus on what you're doing right, it's motivating for you to keep going. You know, instead of going, oh cool, I got a back squat PB, that's way better than going, well, I still need to improve my row, I can't get toes to bar together, you know, or hey, you know, I've got my breakfast dialed in, but you know, my evening meals aren't great. Instead of focusing on the evening meals, focus on what you're doing right for breakfast, and that can carry through. So WOOP stands for Wish, Outcome, Obstacle, and Plan. Okay, and that's a fun acronym, but really what you're talking about is mental contrasting and intentional implementation. So mental contrasting is the idea that if we just engage in fanciful thinking or wishful thinking and thinking, okay, what would it be like to do Amanda unbroken or get down to 10% body fat? Okay, our brains can go, okay, we've achieved that, job done, and it doesn't spur us on to action. But if we take that, okay, what would it be like if I hit my goal of a muscle up? Okay, but where am I now? Right, I've got one strict pull-up. You can actually start to distinguish what type of goal you have. Your body will come up and your brain will come up with an idea of what percentage chance you have of doing that, and it will motivate you. So just even mental contrasting can help you pick the right goal. So losing 2 stone in 2 weeks is probably not a realistic goal, but 2 stone over the course of the year, you go, okay, I can do that. So that mental contrasting is the first thing that's going to help you spur you on to action. The study showed that the people who thought that something was going to be difficult were more likely to succeed than the people who thought, well, this will be a piece of cake. So that's kind of your wish, your goal. And then the outcome is the why behind it. So why do I want to get to low 20% body fat? Why do I want to get a muscle up or a full snatch or get through point break? It can be, well, that's the feeling of pride I get. That's the emotion behind it. And that again spurs on your motivation and finds out the real reason. Why do I want to get a muscle up? Oh, well, it looks cool. You know, that's not high motivation. Why do I want to get a muscle up? Because it represents the years of hard work and something I can be really proud of. Is a different thing. Does that make sense with the outcome? Okay. And then we're on to the obstacle, which is when we start getting into intentional implementation and the final part of mental contrasting. The obstacle, we have a tendency to put as something external. My boss is a prick, so I can't get to work on time. The programming is whack. No, it's not. Okay, you know, my coach isn't doing this. You know, we can all come up with external things, or I have to go out for drinks for work, I can't stick to my diet, you know. So the obstacle, you should find something that's internal. What is stopping me? Okay, I can't plan, you know, I find it difficult to hit 4 days in a row, that sort of training like that. That's the idea behind finding an internal obstacle, and what you do is you create an if-then plan off it, which is final part of the plan. What this does is it means it eliminates your need for willpower, it eliminates vague things, and it takes your big goal and brings it down to a very concrete step. So that's why we wrote up a couple. So the first one is mine. It's like, if it's after dinner, then I'll rehab. So I know I'm ticking the box, I'm moving the needle on my rehab post shoulder. After dinner, I rehab. I get on the foam roller, I start doing my stretches. You know, some people tend to snack, and this is actually one of Derek's, that he, you know, stop in the petrol station on the way home and then he'd pick up some sugary foods. So his is, if it's 9:30, then, this one, if I stop for petrol, then I won't buy sugar. You don't want to fuel your body in the same pace you fuel your car. So you can just create a very simple rule for yourself. If you're tending to sleep too late, you're going to bed too late, you can just create the simple rule, if it's 9:30, then I'll turn off screens. And that's a very simple rule. It's something yes or no you can absolutely do. Now, since we all love training, we put in a training if-then. So you want to hit extra work, but you don't know when to fit it in, you don't know what to do, you know you need to do your core work, purely incidental. Okay. If it's Monday, then I'll do core. So now it's just settled, and it takes away that willpower and that needs, that if-then plan. So that's the idea behind WOOP, guys. We're going to be around for the next, well, we're going to be around as long as you guys are around. But over Christmas and New Year's, if you want to do that, sit down with a goals review, and we'll bring you through your wish, outcome, obstacle, and plan. We'll sit down and help figure out what's a good goal for you to deal with over the next 30 to 90 days in the new year. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.